If your blood runs orange and blue, this is the pod for you. You're listening to Orange and Blue Bloods, hosted by EJ Stewart and Tommy Beer. Let's get to it, New York.
Let's take it out west, because there's some other big playoff news that we did mention a little bit earlier. So a major development in the Western Conference playoffs as Draymond Green has been suspended for Game 3 of the Warriors series against the Sacramento Kings. Green stomped on the chest of Kings center Domantas Sabonis after Domas briefly grabbed his leg while being tangled up under the basket. NBA executive VP Joe Dumars said Green's, quote, over-the-top actions and status as a, quote, repeat offender led to the suspension. The Kings, meanwhile, said that Sabonis, who suffered a sternum injury due to the stomp, is listed as questionable. So, Tommy, this has been a lot of conversation regarding this incident and a lot of conversation about whether or not it was the right decision to suspend Green. Where do you land on this? Do you think that the NBA was right to suspend Draymond Green for Game 3?
Man, I've been going back and forth on this a little bit. I'd like to come out and have a hot take, but I am a little bit on the fence on this. The reason against suspending him, he was ejected in the fourth quarter. Right. Of the game. It was still
a very close game.
Yeah. A very close one possession game, 7 minutes left. That's a big blow. So you're set. It's not the same as suspending him for 2 games. But typically, if you're going to err on the side, if it happened in the last seconds or it happened in the, halfway through the fourth quarter of a 20-point blowout, then it doesn't really have an impact on the series because, but this did have a material impact on the series. I understand that, it kind of happened in the heat of the moment. All that being said, I support I think I would have, if I was in Joe Dumars' place and Adam Silver league office, I think I would have suspended him well for a couple of reasons. And Dumars talked about this. He spoke with Woj and Shams and a bunch of guys. He's got quotes on record, essentially saying that the totality and the history of Draymond Green's histrionics played a factor here. And, the yanking, you talk about, the Jared Allen fouling somebody while going off for a dunk. He grabbed Brandon Clark's jersey and going off for a dunk.
Yeah.
Here, did Draymond Green. That's a dirty non-basketball play.
Absolutely.
We know about the kick to Steven Adams in the spot you don't want to get kicked out a few years ago. We know about the punch to LeBron James. All these things cumulatively, and those are just a few of the highlights of the Draymond Green's greatest hits. And the other thing is the way he reacts after the foul, egging on the crowd. He did the same thing after he got suspended in Memphis. I think saying that I knew the refs weren't going to eject me on podcasts in the past. He just has this, it just escalates the intensity and and all that goes into, I don't want to be, I understand, the league isn't tough enough and you want to see the stars play, and I get all that. But I just can't justify letting a guy do what he does and continue to continue to be allowed, essentially given, free reign to continue to do the things. And the one other thing that I think also made it worse, because a lot of people are saying that Sabonis started it, and it could be interpreted that way, and I can't completely mitigate that, but I really did feel like if you look at it from one angle, I do feel like Sabonis kind of covered up as opposed to seeing that it was Draymond Green and Draymond Green about to go to a fast break and yanking him down and trying to hurt his ankle. I don't think that was the intention of Sabonis. But either way, when you stomp on a man's chest like that, I can't feel sorry for you when you're not allowed to play in the next game.
Yeah, I feel like in terms of the suspension, it's like it's a cop-out answer, but it's almost like I can't disagree with the suspension.
Right, exactly.
It's
like they ruled it on the court and I can't overturn it. There's not enough there. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. That's exactly how I feel. Where it's like, look, I mean, he stomped on a guy's chest. I think for the sake of the NBA playoffs and how great that series has been, would I prefer Draymond Green just be playing and we get to see these two cleared now rivals, battle it out? Yeah, that'd be what I'd want to see. But like, that's just not how this goes. Like, there are Kings fans, there are people involved with the game as well, and they had their center get stomped on the chest. I don't know if you can just say, well, he got thrown out of that game and that's just it. If that was happening in the regular season, there's almost no chance that's not a suspension beyond the flagrant 2.
100%. And also, Sabonis is listed as questionable with the rib contusion.
Right.
So if Sabonis can't play and you allow Green to play, that just looks horrible.
Yeah, exactly. So like, and that's the hockey rule where like essentially like if you knock a guy out in hockey and he's out for a month, then you're out for a month. I mean, I think the NHL, I like that the NHL does that, quite frankly. So I agree that would have been a weird precedent if Sabonis can't go. So from that standpoint, it was like I can't argue with it. The other standpoint is from Draymond Green's perspective. I mean, this guy, he's a dirty player. I don't know what else to say. Like anybody who's trying to like make the amount of excuses I've seen, like I've heard so many people say, well, what else was he supposed to do when the guy grabbed his leg? I'm like, there are 26 guys on each roster. All 25 other guys would not have stomped on Domantas Sabonis' chest, including Domantas Sabonis, if Draymond Green grabbed his leg.
100%.
There's only one player on that court that was going to make that move, and that was Draymond Green, which is why for him, and if you're a Warrior fan who's upset, I just feel like you're upset at the wrong entity. You should be upset at Draymond Green, who continues to display a level of selfishness when it comes to being out of control in these environments and letting the environments get the best of him, and in turn hurting your chances of winning a championship. Like he very well may have cost the Warriors a chance to repeat, because I didn't think the series was over, and it may still not be over. But like those were two tough competitive games. I picked the Kings in 7, all disclosure, but the Kings had to squeak by both of those games. Those were tough games. I thought the Warriors were going to come in 3 and 4 and probably blow their doors off. So like this is a tough series. So for him to make that decision, knowing that now it's in the hands of the league of what's going to happen for you the rest of the series, I mean, to me, it's a completely like, I don't know, like it's like a non-serious kind of action. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. I will say this. Yeah, you're right. And the Kings won 2 games, but I feel like they had to play close to their A game
Right.
to beat the Warriors. And obviously, we know about the Warriors' struggles on the road, reacclimating Andrew Wiggins back into the lineup. Now they go home where they've been dominant. But I will say this: if the Kings want to win the series, I want to. If they don't want to let this game slip away.
No, they gotta get this one.
Because if the Warriors win tonight without Draymond, that's going to make things very interesting for Game 4, and just kind of change the entire momentum of the series. So it sounds crazy to call a game a must-win for a team
up 2-0.
That's up 2-0. But you don't want to let this game slip away. But yeah, credit to you for calling it out. It seems like sometimes we ignore the previous 6 months of what we've seen, the Kings being really good and the Warriors being awful on the road.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And you know, our confirmation bias didn't prove right in this one. So it should be a fascinating game, Game 3, and the rest of the series going forward.
Yeah, like I tweeted, like I don't want to hear people talk about the NBA regular season not mattering. It matters. Now, whether or not the teams take it seriously is a whole nother conversation. But the Kings took the regular season seriously. They protected home court all season. So it prepared them for a matchup against a Warriors team that did not take the regular season seriously, that did not take road games seriously, to find a way to win 2 tough games at home. That is why the regular season does matter. People look at this and say, oh, it doesn't matter. You know, Kings, I know they won all these games, but I mean, they're the Kings. The Warriors are going to go out there and run right through them. I'm like, have you been paying attention? Like, it's so hard. And it's not just this season. This is like the totality of the NBA history. It's so hard to just flip a switch once the playoffs start. Like, if you're a 6C kind of team, you're a 6C kind of team. That's what the Warriors have been much of the season. Now the thing we can just throw in Andrew Wiggins in the mix and just there'll be no consequences. And he's, you know, still trying to find his way through it. I won't say I was surprised at how much people were writing off the Kings in this series, because I wasn't, but I just think that the reasoning behind it, which seemed to almost entirely stem from throwing out the Warriors regular season and throwing out a lot of the Kings sets in the regular season, just didn't make sense. If you want to say from a roster standpoint, they got a better roster in terms of the Warriors, I may not even disagree with you, but I just didn't understand eliminating the regular season from why the Warriors were going to beat the Kings in this series. So I'll tell you what, there are very, very interesting series happening all across the NBA. Maybe not so much in the East besides this Knicks series, but in the West.
Well, does Milwaukee need to win tonight? Doubtful.
Well, that's another one.
Giannis doubtful for Game 2. I did not expect him to be listed as doubtful. We saw him go down with the injury, but it was it was contact injury, and it just
Yeah.
seemed like obviously Miami's playing without Tyler Hero, but listen, the Bucks are good and they can win 4 out of 5 with a healthy Giannis, but you're not going to get 100% Giannis in Game 3.
Definitely, yeah.
And you got to win 3 of those games in Miami against playoff Jimmy Butler. Yeah, that's no small task. So we got the Suns, the Kings. Warriors game tomorrow night, Thursday, and then we got the Milwaukee Miami game tonight. So on Wednesday night, so it should be definitely some interesting action in the
yeah. It's been wild. You're right. That Bucks series got very interesting with that Giannis doubtful listing, and I said on WFAN just a couple of days ago that I felt like, technically yesterday, recorded this on Wednesday, that to me the Giannis injury and the Tyler Hero injury actually opened up a path to the Knicks to potentially, at the very minimum, go to the NBA Eastern Conference Finals. I think maybe go to the NBA Finals. That's how serious this could be. Giannis is now doubtful for this game. Things can get very weird and very interesting. As what was the character in the Marvel universe played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus said in Captain America, Winter Soldier? She was like, things about to get very weird. And that's kind of how I feel about the NBA playoffs.
Yeah.
Things about to get very weird. I said Falcon. I meant Falcon and Winter Soldier, not Captain America Winter Soldier, but you know what I mean. Things about to get very weird in these NBA playoffs. I feel it. And buckle up. Buckle up, Knicks fans. You're in there for a long series. Buckle up, rest of the NBA. I think this is going to be a wild ride. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. If you want to see more of our videos, be sure to check out our playlist and let us know what you think in the comments below.
Also, don't forget to follow us on social media to stay up to date on our latest podcast ventures. Links will be in the descriptions. And as always, thanks for watching, and we will see you in our next video.